Hello there, my dears. It's your Grandma Lily here, and welcome to Dear Grandma. Oh, the joys of travel. Seeing new corners of our beautiful world, meeting fascinating souls, and soaking in cultures that just warm the heart. It truly is food for the soul. You know, I've learned over the years, and it reminds me a little of how I've made my bed first thing every morning for 60 years, starts the day right. That even the most exciting journeys can sometimes have little hidden bumps in the road, things that might just catch us off guard if we're not mindful. Whether you're dreaming of that once-in-a-lifetime trip or just a little getaway, there are a few things we seniors over 70 need to keep in mind to make sure those adventures stay joyful and don't turn into a worry. Today, I want to share with you the top 5 things I've learned, sometimes the hard way through my friends' experiences, that can be a little tricky when we travel. From our health needing a bit more care to keeping our purses safe, we'll talk about it all. And do stay until the end, because I have a little gem of advice, something that has helped my dear friend Agnes stay healthy and happy on her travels that I think will help you too. Now, settle in, make yourselves comfy, and let's have a little chat, shall we? Number 1. Increased health risks and medical emergencies. You know, as we get a bit older, our bodies can be a tad more, shall we say, unpredictable. It reminds me a little of my old Victrola. Mostly reliable, plays the sweetest tunes, but every now and then it needs a little extra attention. For us seniors, those little background health things can sometimes decide to make themselves known at the most inconvenient times, especially when we're traveling. High blood pressure might decide to dance a jig when we're rushing through an airport. A heart that's been steady as a drum might flutter unexpectedly with a change in altitude. And even a little sniffle can turn into a real bother for our lungs when we're in unfamiliar climates. These aren't just little annoyances, my dears. They can be like little storm clouds brewing when we're far from our familiar comforts and doctors. Travel, bless its adventurous heart, throws our routines right out the window, and that can sometimes stir things up in our bodies faster than you can say, "Where's the nearest chemist?" Let me paint you a little picture. Imagine you're finally on that trip you've always dreamed of, perhaps seeing the rolling hills of Scotland or the charming canals of Venice. The excitement is bubbling, but maybe the air is a bit crisp, or you've been doing a lot of walking, and suddenly your chest feels a bit tight. It's not just a bit of indigestion from that lovely Scottish breakfast. It could be your heart needing a little extra care, and the nearest medical help feels miles away. Or maybe you feel a bit lightheaded after a long day of sightseeing, and finding a place to get some help in a new city feels like trying to find a teacup in a haystack. These aren't just made-up worries. They're real possibilities that get a little louder when we're away from our usual support. You see, my dears, our bodies don't always bounce back as quickly as they used to. Recovery takes a little longer, and things can feel a bit more intense. Add in jet lag that scrambles your sleep, trying new foods that might not agree with you, or even just forgetting a medication dose in all the excitement, and that lovely vacation could end up with you feeling quite unwell. It reminds me of my dear friend Agnes, a wonderful woman, full of life, and always ready for an adventure. Last year, she went on a trip to Scotland with her daughter. She was so looking forward to seeing the lochs and the highlands. But one evening, after a lovely day of exploring, she started feeling a terrible pain in her chest. She thought it was just heartburn from the rich food, but it got worse. A sharp, gripping pain that took her breath away. Her daughter was so worried, but they were in a small village, far from a big hospital. The local doctor was kind, but Agnes needed more specialized care. Hours felt like days as they arranged for her to be taken to a larger hospital in Edinburgh. Thankfully, she got the help she needed, and it turned out to be a heart issue that needed attention. But the worry, the fear, it took a real toll on her and her daughter. That trip, meant to be a joyful mother-daughter adventure, became a real ordeal. It just shows you, doesn't it? Our health doesn't always wait for a convenient moment. So, how do we put on our armor and stay safe? It's more than just packing our pillboxes, my dears. It's about having a real strategy. Weeks before you even think about your itinerary, have a good chat with your doctor. Be specific. Will the change in altitude affect my breathing? How will the heat play with my heart? Are there any local illnesses I need to be aware of, like they talk about on Healthline? Get their go-ahead for your travel plans and ask for a little summary of your health conditions, your medications, and any allergies, just to have on hand. And travel insurance? Oh, my dear. It's not just a piece of paper. It's your safety net. Make sure it covers emergencies, getting you home if needed, and any pre-existing conditions. A cheap policy might leave you in a real pickle. Always keep your medications with you in your carry-on, not tucked away in your suitcase. And before you set off each day, know where the nearest medical help is. Don't think just because you've traveled before, you're all set. Our bodies are like the weather, always changing. Taking those extra steps can turn potential worries into just little bumps in the road, letting you enjoy every precious moment of your adventure. Number 2, exposure to infections and contaminants. Traveling, in a way, is like stepping into a big, bustling room full of new friends, and sometimes a few unwelcome little germs, too. Airports with all those people hurrying about, buses packed tighter than a tin of sardines, markets where everyone's touching the same lovely things. It's a whole new world of little bugs. And for us seniors, our wonderful immune systems, which have served us so well over the years, might not be quite as spry as they used to be. Those little colds that a younger person might just sniffle at can sometimes knock us right off our feet, and a tummy bug from some food that wasn't quite right could mean more time in bed than seeing the sights. Airplanes recycling the air, hotel rooms that might have unseen dust bunnies, and those delicious-looking exotic foods that might have a few hidden surprises. For us, infections can be quite a bother. They can hit us harder, stay longer, and really put a damper on our travels. Just think about the journey itself. You're in those long security lines, touching trays that goodness knows how many hands have touched. Then you're all cozy on a plane, breathing the same air for hours. If it's flu season, well, it's a bit like playing a game of chance. You arrive at your destination, and there are new things to be careful of. The local water might have little friends in it that your tummy won't appreciate. That tempting street food might have been sitting out a bit too long. And being in a big crowd could mean you pick up a little cough that just won't leave. You see, my dears, we don't just catch these things more easily. Our bodies take longer to fight them off. Getting dehydrated from a little tummy upset can happen quickly, and a fever in a hot climate can just sap all your strength. I'm not trying to scare you, not at all. But it's just the way our bodies work, and it's something to be mindful of when we're away from our usual comforts. My dear friend Eleanor learned this on a trip to Turkey. Oh, she was having a marvelous time, seeing the beautiful mosques and the bustling bazaars. One day, at a lovely little restaurant, she had a refreshing glass of water. It looked so clear and pure. But later that night, oh dear, she was terribly unwell. Her stomach was in knots, and she felt so poorly. It turned out the local water wasn't quite what she was used to, and it really spoiled a good few days of her trip. She was so careful about food, but she hadn't thought about the water. It just goes to show you, doesn't it? New places can mean new little challenges we don't always think about. So, how do we keep those unwelcome little germs at bay? It's about being a bit more careful, not worried. Hand sanitizer becomes your best friend. Use it after you touch anything in public, before you eat anything at all. Masks aren't just for when there's a big illness going around. Wearing one in crowded places like airports or trains can really help filter out those little airborne bugs. Water is so important. Unless you're absolutely sure it's safe, stick to bottled or boiled water. And when it comes to food, if it's not piping hot or you haven't seen it peeled or prepared right in front of you, maybe give it a miss. Getting your vaccinations up to date is also so important. Check with your doctor about any recommended shots for where you're going, like they often advise on the CDC website. And pack a little kit of your own remedies for those little quick fixes. Something for a tummy upset, a cough, just the basics. It's all about being a little bit of a smart traveler and not letting those pesky contaminants steal your joy. Number 3. Travel fatigue and recovery challenges. Oh, my dears, travel is a wonderful thing, but it can sometimes feel like running a marathon, especially for us folks who've celebrated a few more birthdays. Long flights that seem to go on forever, that pesky jet lag that turns night into day, and all that wonderful walking to see the sights. It all adds up and can really take a toll on our energy levels. What might be just a sleepy day for a younger person can leave us feeling completely drained, sometimes even needing days to recover long after we've unpacked our suitcases. You see, our bodies aren't quite as quick to bounce back as they used to be. Muscles can ache a bit more. A good night's sleep can be a bit elusive, and that tired feeling can linger like an old friend who's overstayed their welcome. It's not just feeling a bit weary. It can be a real wall that crashes into your plans and steals the fun from what should be a lovely experience. Just picture this: a long, 12-hour flight with knees knocking against the seat in front, breathing that recycled air, and then having to lug your bags through a huge airport. Then you arrive, and your body clock is completely upside down. 3 in the morning feels like lunchtime. And your itinerary is packed with all those must-see places: museums, historical sites, lovely dinners. The first day, you might feel full of beans, but by day 2, you're starting to fade. And by day 3, you might feel like just staying in bed, missing out on all those wonderful things you plan to see. For us seniors, that tiredness can really build up. Stiff joints feel even stiffer. Our minds can get a bit foggy, and our hearts might be working a little harder than usual. And recovering isn't just a quick nap. A week-long trip can sometimes mean needing 2 weeks of quiet time at home afterwards, your body just saying, "Now, hold on a minute. You did a bit too much." It's not about being weak, my dears. It's just the way things are as we age. And it's important to listen to our bodies. Otherwise, that lovely vacation might end up feeling like a bit of a punishment. My dear friend Walter, a real go-getter in his early 70s, and his lovely wife decided to take a whirlwind tour of Italy. 2 weeks, 5 cities, they were so excited. But that 10-hour flight hit him like a ton of bricks. There was turbulence, a delay, and a little one crying nearby. Bless their heart, but it didn't help Walter's sleep. They arrived in Rome feeling completely worn out, had to navigate a busy airport with their luggage, and then straight into sightseeing. Walter, being the trooper he is, soldiered on. Cathedrals, ancient ruins. He didn't want to miss a thing, jet lag be darned. But by the second day, his legs felt like lead, and his mind was all fuzzy. He pushed through half the trip, skipping dinners to try and get some rest, dozing off on the buses, until he finally had to admit he was just too exhausted to enjoy it. When they got back home, it took him weeks to feel like himself again. He had aches and pains he didn't expect, and that wonderful trip ended up leaving him feeling like he'd missed out on half of it. It taught him a valuable lesson. Pacing yourself is more important than trying to see everything, and fatigue doesn't care how much you've looked forward to something. So, how do we beat that travel fatigue? It's all about building in some breathing room into your trip. Don't try to cram everything in from sunrise to sunset. Schedule in rest days, even just short naps during the day. Choose a leisurely coffee break over rushing to the next monument. And hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Water is your best friend. Not too much of the lovely local wine, perhaps. Pack some healthy snacks to keep your energy levels steady and avoid those sudden crashes. When it comes to jet lag, try to ease into it with shorter flights if possible, or maybe a stopover to break up the journey. Give your body time to adjust to the new time zone. Comfort is key, my dears. If you can, spring for a more comfortable seat on the plane or choose a hotel that's closer to the things you want to see so you're not trekking miles every day. And most importantly, listen to your body. If you're feeling wiped out, swap that castle tour for a relaxing sit in a cafe and watch the world go by. Taking it slow doesn't mean you'll have a dull trip. It means you'll actually be able to savor what you can see and do without completely exhausting yourself. Travel is a gift, not a race, and when you pace it right, it stays golden. Number 4. Increased risk of falls and injuries. As we get a little older, our bodies can play little tricks on us. Our balance might not be quite as steady as it once was. Our reflexes might be a tad slower, and our bones can become a bit more delicate. For us seniors over 70, this means that falls can become a bit of a hidden danger, and traveling can sometimes make those risks a little higher. At home, a little stumble might just mean a bruise and a grumble, but when you're on the road, in a strange city, far from your familiar surroundings, a fall can lead to a broken hip or another serious injury. Those charming old cobblestone streets, the dimly lit hallways in some hotels, the slick tiles in a foreign bathroom, every step can feel a bit more uncertain when your footing isn't quite what it used to be. And injuries can hit us harder too. A sprained ankle that might heal quickly for a younger person can sideline us for weeks, and a fracture can mean months of recovery, especially when you're trying to navigate unfamiliar places without your usual support network. Think about some of the tricky spots you might encounter. A quaint little village with beautiful but uneven pathways, a busy train station with no handrails where you need them, a boat dock that's swaying in the water as you try to step aboard. Travel has a way of throwing little unexpected challenges our way. Luggage that can pull you off balance, jet lag that can make you feel a bit dizzy and unfocused, crowds of people rushing past when you need to take your time. Just one little misstep, and down you can go. And the pain is just the beginning. Hospitals in other countries might not be what you're used to. Language barriers can make getting care more complicated, and a simple trip can suddenly turn into a long saga of emergency rooms and canceled flights. For us seniors, falls aren't just accidents. They can really change things, affecting our ability to get around and our confidence long after the physical injury has healed. It's not about being fearful, my dears. It's about being aware that the odds can shift a bit as we age. My dear friend Margaret, a very active woman in her early 70s who loved her daily walks, had always dreamed of visiting Lisbon. She was so excited to see the beautiful tiles and the historic neighborhoods. But those charming, sloping cobblestone streets turned out to be her undoing. One little twist of her ankle and she fell, breaking her hip. The fall happened so quickly, but the aftermath was devastating. Emergency surgery in a foreign country, a frantic call to her family back home. Her trip cut short. She spent months in rehab afterwards, her active life put on hold, and her spirit was just as bruised as her body. She'd never really thought twice about her balance until that moment, but those uneven paths, the unfamiliar surroundings, just changed everything for her. It's a stark reminder that the magic of travel can turn sour if we're not prepared for the physical demands. So, how do we stay steady on our feet? It starts with making smart choices about where we go. Opt for destinations with flatter terrain over those with lots of hills and steps. Look for places with good accessibility, like ramps instead of stairs. And shoes? Oh my dears, shoes are so important. Ditch those lovely sandals for something with good grip and support. No compromises there. Walking aids like canes or trekking poles aren't a sign of weakness. They're a sign of wisdom. If you feel a bit unsteady, pack one. Before you head out each day, try to scope out your route. Ask your hotel about accessibility. Avoid dimly lit shortcuts, and always take your time. Getting enough rest is also key. When you're tired, you're more likely to be clumsy. A fall isn't something that's just going to happen. It's a risk you can lessen with a little extra care, keeping your trip a story of joy, not a story of regret. Number 5. Financial risks and travel insurance. Oh my dears, travel can sometimes be a bit of a money pit if things don't go quite right, especially for us seniors who might be on a fixed income. A sudden medical issue, a flight that gets canceled, a pickpocket in a crowded market, or even a clever scam can really drain your savings and turn that dream getaway into a bit of a financial nightmare. Costs can add up so quickly when you're abroad. Hospitals can charge a lot, unfortunately. Scams can prey on our trust. And even something as simple as lost luggage can mean having to replace everything unexpectedly. For those of us who are retired, one big financial hit can really undo years of careful planning. Too many people assume their regular health insurance will cover them overseas, or that these kinds of things just won't happen to them until they're stuck with a bill they can't pay in a place they don't know. The potential financial pitfalls are many. A little sprain that needs attention in a private clinic can suddenly cost thousands. A storm that grounds your plane can mean all those non-refundable hotel bookings vanish into thin air. A friendly-sounding person offering a special tour might turn out to be a con artist, and your cash disappears. Even legitimate trips can have hidden costs, unexpected fees, unfair currency exchange rates, or a hotel that's overbooked and leaves you scrambling for a new place to stay at the last minute. Sadly, seniors can sometimes be targets for scammers. They might spot a bit of hesitation, a language barrier, or a struggle with technology and try to take advantage. Without a good safety net, you're not just out of pocket, you could be stranded, stressed, and trying to sort out a crisis that could have been avoided with a little foresight. Take my dear friend Arthur. He'd been saving for ages for a lovely trip to a tropical island. He found what looked like a fantastic deal online and booked it, so excited for the sun and the sand. But when he arrived at the address, there was no resort. It turned out to be a fake website, a clever scam that had taken his money. No refund, no room. He had to fork out a fortune for a last-minute hotel, completely blowing his budget. He spent days trying to sort things out with a shady agency, his dream vacation ruined by frustration. He decided to skip travel insurance, thinking his credit card would cover him. Oh dear, he was wrong. A good travel insurance policy could have reimbursed him for the scam, but instead, he had to swallow the loss. A bitter pill that lasted longer than any sunburn. It's a classic example, isn't it? Trusting too much, planning too little, and ending up paying dearly for it. So, how do we protect our purses and our peace of mind? It all comes down to being prepared. Get good travel insurance, comprehensive, not just the bare minimum. Make sure it covers medical emergencies, cancellations, theft, and all those unexpected hiccups. Check your regular health insurance plan. Most of them don't extend beyond your home country. Don't just assume they do. Book your trips through reputable websites, read reviews carefully, and be wary of deals that seem too good to be true. Carry your money in different places, a card and some backup cash, not all in one wallet. And do a little research about common scams in the places you're visiting. Things like fake taxis or sob stories. A little bit of healthy skepticism can save you a lot of heartache. Travel insurance isn't a luxury, my dears. It's your shield, turning potential disasters into minor detours so your trip stays a happy memory, not a financial setback. So there you have it, my dears. Today, we've had a little chat about some of the things we seniors need to be a bit more aware of when we're traveling. Our health needing extra care, those pesky infections, the way travel can tire us out, the risk of falls, and keeping our finances safe. Now, these aren't reasons to stay home and miss out on all the wonderful things the world has to offer. They're just little reminders to travel a bit smarter. Arm yourselves with good health checks. Make sure you have that all-important travel insurance. Be mindful of germs, pace yourselves, and keep a close eye on your belongings. And you'll find that those potential risks become just little ripples in your otherwise smooth and joyful journey. Travel is a treasure, not a trap, and with a little extra planning, it stays that way. Are you thinking about your next adventure? Just ask yourself those important questions. Am I feeling healthy enough? Is my insurance sorted? Is my destination reasonably senior-friendly? Do share your own thoughts and tips in the comments below. We'd all love to hear them. If this little chat has been helpful, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Dear Grandma, and share it with any of your fellow travelers. Life after 70 is just too rich to risk. Let's travel safe, thrive boldly, and I look forward to our next little chat.